I want to go to Oren Lieberman, who is in Jerusalem, and where it sounds like the missiles are hitting again. Oren, tell us what you're going through.
Jake, this looks like the third wave of incoming ballistic missile fire from Iran. The Israeli military put out a statement just a few moments ago saying the IDF identified missiles launched from Iran toward the territory of the State of Israel. Sirens were going off in Jerusalem behind us. I don't know if the mic is picking up on it, but it sounds like those sirens were so loud they set off car alarms in the area. And even after they stopped here for a moment, you could hear them in neighboring towns and villages. And then over the course of the past probably 2 minutes or so, we heard what sounded like 4 or 5 likely interceptions, but also possibly impacts. We're not sure about that yet. And as I sit here talking to you, the red alerts keep coming in for areas all around Jerusalem. Shoresh, for example, is just west of us. A number of other locations in the area. So this appears to be, from what we're seeing here, the third round of Iranian ballistic missile fire incoming at Israel. Again, the sirens went off here for quite some time, and then they continued in areas around Jerusalem, and we heard a number of intercepts. Let me stop talking for just a minute here. I doubt the microphone can pick it up, but I can hear red alert sirens in the distance, essentially west of where we're sitting right now, that is towards Tel Aviv. And it looks like sirens or red alerts are also going off in the West Bank in places like Shiloh as well. So it's not clear if this is all across the country, but it certainly looks like it is around Jerusalem and potentially central parts of the country as well, with what is the third round of incoming ballistic missile fire. Meanwhile, my cameraman here looking behind me, are you seeing
we're seeing
possibly
an
interception or a flame of some sort behind us, whether that's a down missile?
Yeah, we're seeing some images right now from Jerusalem and also some from Tel Aviv. That's Tel Aviv right now. We're seeing images. And what, for folks not used to seeing this, some of them are missiles and some of them are
and we just saw a launch right behind us.
Anti-missiles.
Yeah, you might even still be able to hear it in the background. We just saw an interceptor launched off from pretty much right behind us that was headed up right behind our shot here. We might be able to roll that back a little later, but I think that's the first time this evening, at least, that we have seen an interceptor fired from Jerusalem. Most of the incoming had been towards Tel Aviv, some towards northern Israel, but now it seems this missile fire, at least a portion of it, headed towards Jerusalem itself. Obviously, it goes without saying, this is where the Prime Minister's office is, this is where the Knesset is, this is where major government offices are. And as I say this, just heard what sounded like an interception. Might have been able to see it over my left shoulder here. Another one, potentially a third one. So this looks like, and I'm still hearing them.
Yeah, the flashes in the sky, for those watching, the flashes in the sky
here, this sounds like
are missiles being exploded by the interceptors. When the missiles get through, the flashes are on the ground when the missiles hit. It is quite a thing to be in Israel when they are under attack, which is not infrequently. When I was in Israel after October 7, 2023, and Hamas was firing rockets.
Hello.
There we go. We see more missiles in the sky.
You hear the sounds of the explosions taking place in Tel Aviv.
Now we're hearing from a different station. Brett McGurk, have you ever been in Israel while they were under attack?
We see more behind us as well, yeah.
Again, if you're just joining us, you're looking at
as 200 ballistic missiles detect the launch. You can then see the streaks across the screen.
It's a remarkable thing.
And for a moment, it's silent because you're waiting for them to get in range to take down. Then the whole screen goes white and you get the after action report. So I very much know what is going on here. I am thinking about our men and women working with the Israelis to help defeat that attack. Fortunately, we know how to do it. I think we're very good at it, but also, unfortunately, some do get through.
Well, what U.S. troops are obviously there at the U.S. Embassy, but what are they there in any other capacity?
We have a diplomatic presence. We have military personnel who work with our embassy. We have a THAAD system, a terminal high-altitude area defense system.
THAAD system is a missile defense system.
One of our most high-end anti-missile defense systems.
And so we have U.S. service members with the THAAD system.
Yes, that is operated by U.S. military personnel working, hand in glove with the IDF.
Oh, okay. This is something we've heard critics of Israel and of U.S. policy when it comes to the alliance with Israel on the left and the right today talking about this, about how Israel is dragging the United States into war.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans live in Israel. We're going to help defend Israel, period. We're going to help defend Israel. And I have to go back, Jacob, and talk about this today on your air. The strategic equation in the Middle East, this really does go back to October 7th. Hamas launched an attack against Israel. Iran made a fateful decision to basically join in that attack, to turn on Hezbollah, to turn on the proxies across the Middle East, to turn on the Houthis, to launch 2 major attacks themselves against Israel. These were like fateful decisions they made. And Israel has struck back. And basically that's where we are. This week, it was about the nuclear issue. And the IAEA finding Iran in egregious violation of their nuclear commitments. 19 countries saying Iran has to be held accountable. That's not been happening in 20 years. That happened just this week. So there's a broader context here. And Iran has had agency, and they've made the wrong decision repeatedly, one time after another. I've lived through this since October 7th, and they have just totally miscalculated. And it's a new equation here in the Middle East. And the Israelis have made clear since October 7th, they will not sit as threats fester on their border. So that's basically the situation we have.
Oren Lieberman, tell us what you're going through, what you're seeing there.
Well, right now we just hear the car alarms behind us that were probably set off by how loud the sirens themselves are. It doesn't look like there is more incoming at this particular moment, but that's only from our window here on Jerusalem here behind me. I'm still getting red alerts for example, Bet Shemesh, which is a city that's just west of us by probably 10, 15 miles or so. So it's possible there are continued incoming missiles simply in other locations across the country. One of the interceptors that we saw was fired off from almost directly behind us. It was incredibly loud, not the explosion itself, which obviously makes a tremendous thunderous boom that you can hear for miles, but the launch itself was quite close to us. And if you look behind us here, it's essentially a straight shot to the Knesset, which is Israel's parliament, its main government building. Potentially that was the target. If not, it looks like that's where the interceptor was launched. We saw and heard a number, probably around 10, a dozen, maybe even a few more interceptions. Difficult to tell where those are because they're so loud. They can be miles away, but it also looked like there may have been falling shrapnel on and around the city of Jerusalem behind us. I think we're effectively facing south here from the way you're looking at the camera here behind me, which gives you an idea of where some of that may have fallen. But at least from the red alerts we're getting, which again are the warnings of incoming rocket and missile fire, it looks like there were potentially many more missiles. The first 2 rounds were dozens and then dozens more. I expect we'll get an update soon from the Israeli military on how many were fired at this point. And then we'll wait to hear from emergency services on how many missiles either impacted or whether shrapnel or material from them fell across the country. Those have caused injuries as well. So at least in terms of this third wave, and I just got more red alerts. Not clear that it's over yet, maybe more waves coming, but it looks to be a very long night across the country here, frankly, which is what Israel was preparing for and what Iran had promised.
Yeah, Iran promised a long, dark night. Just to put Oren back there for 1 second, I just want to illustrate something for our viewers who might not fully understand how small Israel is. Israel's roughly the size of New Jersey. Oren is there on the right. He's in Jerusalem. The image on the left is Tel Aviv, which I believe is the largest city in Israel. These 2 cities are separated by 40 miles. That's it. It's about a 50-minute drive on Route 1. Then these are the 2 biggest cities in the country. It is not a large country, though it does grab a lot of attention. Oren, stand by. I want to keep talking to Brett McGurk. Brett, we've heard the Saudis today condemning the attack Israel launched on Iran, which, by the way, just for folks who aren't up to speed, Saudi Arabia and Iran are constantly at war with each other through proxies, in Yemen most recently. Iran backing the Houthis and the Saudis backing the government of Yemen. How does MBS, how do the Saudi leaders actually, truly, in their hearts, in your opinion, how did they really think about Israel taking out the nuclear program and the military leadership of Iran?
can't speak for them, but I know
Just an educated
I know the
guess.
region pretty
An
well.
educated guess.
Number one, they want to stay out of it, so want to
Right, of
contain this
course.
between Israel and Iran. But they welcome the dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah, and
No
if Iran
question.
builds
No
a
question.
nuke, then the
No
Saudis
que-
think they have to.
They've declared that, no question.
Yeah.
Look, dismantling Iran's nuclear, they have a civilian program, dismantling their enrichment capability, you ultimately will have a more peaceful Middle East.